Happy Friday Eve. Thomas, how are you doing today?
Happy Friday Eve. Happy leap year. Happy fashionably late, not relevant podcast. All the above.
I still have not got anything for my wife on our anniversary of being engaged. This is only, let's see, how old am I? I'm like,
You've got
this has only come around like maybe 10 times.
Yeah.
I'm missing the date.
You've got time? Question mark.
Time is not on my side on this one.
There's a song with that, I think, right?
I think we've got to do we like to celebrate on the weekends. Usually when something happens big that's during the week, we sort of try to celebrate on the weekend when we're available. So I'm going to use that a reason. I love you, Jen. I love you.
Right. Good thing she doesn't watch the podcast.
And any more. Yeah.
We do the same thing, though. If there's some sort of event or holiday that falls on a weekday, unless it's one of the major ones and work is, we're all off, we'll hold out for the weekend when we can enjoy the time and not have the stresses of work and all that stuff in the way too. So I can get behind your reason.
Yes, thank you. Who said Walgreens has candy? Has roses. Who was that?
I saw that pass by. Breezy, still live with the channel today, came in with a super chat. Says, yo, anyone going to Crime Con? Maya, Jack, Nick, will be there on the panel.
It's going to be in Tennessee, right?
I think so this year, yeah.
I wrote them a letter and said, I'd like a guest pass, like for myself. and they said, who?
So, email got caught in the spam filter.
Yeah. So I guess it's not good. I mean, I'm like, look, I guess they're sort of picky about live streaming from it.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, if you think about it, everyone there wants to live stream.
It's like, well, that's sort of what I do,
right?
But yeah, so they're not as interested in the fact that I can share their content with the world, and they won't have to make a penny from any of those people who watch it. Not on their priority list for some reason. I'm not sure why, but I'm sure they're just taking their time to get back to me in there.
Yeah,
they'll do that soon.
The panel is just kind of reading it over. That reminds me of something that I thought about today, kind of preparing mentally for the podcast, that I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, prepare. What's this preparing of which you speak?
Well, mentally, I have to have something because it's a hollow up here with like an acorn if I shake it. So I've got to
rattles around. And you're like, wait, I have an idea.
I've got to add something. But I thought about something because it pertained to me as well in a different time of my life. But when you mentioned live streaming, I know there's things that you have to set up, obviously, especially when you go from like your sound check last night to now back to your studio this morning and all that stuff. So you've got your checks and balances to make sure it's working. That's a given. Do you? Yeah.
There are buttons that need to be adjusted and knobs. Every single one of these has a specific spot it has to be.
So outside of just being prepared and having things the way you want it, you need it, do you have a system that you could almost put into the superstition category of I have to mess with this machine first, or I have to wear this and I have to do this, I have to drink or eat this? Or is it just setting up equipment in a certain order just because you hope that it's going to work right if I do that, even though that order has no bearing on the outcome?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
My Lumia stream, which is the program that interacts with the commands that are shared in chat, I can leave that running and it will connect all by itself and just do what it does.
Okay.
But I always shut it off because I remember I turn on Lumia stream, I change the audio level on my input for my text input for chat, And if I don't have Lumia Stream, I will forget to change the audio level, and then I'll have that feedback where suddenly I hear myself a couple seconds later.
Mhm.
So yes, I guess it's like a superstition. I have to do something. I don't need to. I can leave Lumia Stream running 24/7, and it will just, oh, you're live again. We're going to start, forwarding stuff onto your channel.
Yes.
But so yeah, that's it. But other than that, most of what I do is like it has like an actual like an audio or video reason.
Right.
Like the order in which you turn things on and power things up so that you don't damage speakers,
Yeah.
things like that. But
It has
I
a
try.
bet on the operation and the product.
Yeah, it's best practice type stuff.
But there's a thing that you do that doesn't really have a bearing on the outcome of the product, but you do it as a reminder for yourself, just because it makes you feel comfortable before you get up and rolling.
Yeah, and I still, every single time I do it, I think to myself, like, I don't have to do this. And it's so much that if I leave it running, I will shut it down and then reopen it. That's how much of it has to happen this way. It's like, I know it's working right now, but I have to turn it off and turn it back on, because that's what I do when I start the show. Do you have superstitions like that?
So it's funny. I don't have any for, well, for one, I'm terrible at making videos for my own channel, so no. I don't have any for our podcast. I have a few in my day-to-day life that has carried over, because superstitions and or rituals, whatever people choose to call them, they're huge in sports, right? So when I was Scott Spencer, yeah, someday. So in my hockey days, I had to, when I would put on my gear, I had to start with everything from the left. So it'd be my left sock, my left skate, my left pad.
Oh,
Everything
hockey.
had to be from the left, and I would move to the right. I could never put on my right skate before my left skate, ever. I couldn't.
So do you put on like your right sock, then right skate, and then left sock, and then left skate? Or was it right sock, right skate, left skate?
Everything's left pant leg,
So
left
you had like
sock,
half your
skate.
uniform on, pads hanging off you, and at the other side, you're still like towel from coming out of the
Just
the
about.
shower.
Yeah. The left strap on my helmet to then my right strap on my helmet to then my left glove to then my right. I mean, everything was left to right. It had to be always.
Did your teammates, like, were they watching you to make sure you did it right? Because superstition. I mean, your teammate wears the same stinky socks every game, right? And you've got somebody who does that, and you're like, hey,
Yeah.
why aren't you wearing the stinky socks today? That affects all of us.
So no, because being the goalie, if they ever saw me mess up, they just like buried their head and went, "Oh, we can't say anything. He's the goal. We can't get him rattled. If he didn't notice what he did, just let it go." Because it's all mental, right? So
Well,
if
the
I didn't,
fact that you're 6'8" and solid muscle is also
yeah,
a
no,
reason why they don't question you.
But it's funny you say that too. The stinky socks thing. We actually had a guy who his superstition was he didn't wear socks in his skates. Oh, it was yeah. But so moving forward,
I think I just threw up a little bit in my mouth.
yeah, I did a little. I had to move that thinking about it. But since then, obviously, haven't played hockey or done anything like that for years. It has transitioned into when I take my motorcycle for a ride, and I wear boots and some gear. I've got to put on my left boot, and then my pants, and then I put on whatever shirt. But then I put on my jacket. Then it's left glove, and then right glove, and then I secure my left glove, and then secure my right glove. It's followed me, and I'm
Have you
not. Go ahead.
have you ever tried to get on the motorcycle from the wrong side?
No.
Would that ruin everything?
No.
Like the feng shui of the balance?
Yes, and I'm not kidding you. So it'll never change. It was 2 weeks ago. I threw my backpack on and I ran to the store. I think I just went to get, I don't know. I make excuses to have to go get something from the store sometimes because it's just fun to go.
And you take the long way, right?
Yeah, 100%. And so I did.
Once I went to get milk from the store and I came back with fish from ice fishing. I know how this happens.
Yeah, happens real quick. And so I'm leaving the store and I'm getting geared up. Oh, and I'm not making this up. This is 2 weeks ago. I put on my I put on my left glove and then my right glove like I normally would. But I fastened my right glove before I fastened my left. And I'm ready to go. And I told myself, "Oh, you just messed up." And I went, "Thomas, you're an adult now. Superstitions mean nothing. It's silly. It has no bearing on your riding home or outcome today. Just Don't be stupid. Be an adult about this. I start my ride home. I'm halfway home. I'm coming down. It's 2 lanes going one way to the other with the empty median. Speed limit's 45 or 50.
Mhm.
And I'm just putting along. And on a motorcycle, you're always watching cars that are trying to pull out, right? You're
Because
watching their
they're
front
trying to
wheels.
hit you. They don't know it, but they're trying to hit you.
100%. It is a real life game of Frogger.
Mhm.
And as I'm approaching, I look over and here's this car comes out of the grocery store, stops, and I'm thinking, okay, perfect. Pulls right out. And I had to emergency brake on everything. And I'm looking her dead in the eyes from about 6 feet away into her driver's side window. She pulled right out in front of me. And if I wasn't anticipating ready, and so I just kind of putt. I think I had 2 miles to get home from there. And I
It's
got
because of the
home.
glove.
I got home. I took my gloves off and I threw them on the driveway. And my wife was like, whoa, you okay? And I said, I fastened my right glove first.
Yeah, you might want to come get him now. He's having another one of those episodes.
Yes, I was losing it. I wasn't mad at the lady even when I got there. You
Yeah, it
see a lot
wasn't
of
her fault.
videos.
Your glove. That was all on you.
I blamed it all on my glove and me because I told myself, Tom, oh, you did your right glove. Oh, it's fine. And I went. So I took all responsibility.
See, growing up, I remember being superstitious about things, and I guess it's like you step on a crack on the sidewalk, it breaks your mom's back. Who thought of that? I mean, talk about morbid, right? But
Yeah.
but I, I that didn't bother me. I did find myself sort of timing my steps right, and so my gait is normally I just skip cracks. It's not like in my head I'm not like, oh, I can't do that, but it just works out that way. It's like ingrained in me.
Your muscle
Um,
memory.
yes, muscle memory. It's like you never know. One of them might sink, and it's like an adult version of the search for the Holy Grail,
Yes.
right? The where you got to step on the right letters. You never step halfway between. You
True.
commit, right? I'm going to be on this square of the sidewalk, and if it sinks, so be it. I'm going down with it. I'm not going to be like, well, it was sort of on this square, sort of on the other. That's why I forget where I was going with that, but yeah, superstitions. It's I don't know.
It's
What else do
crazy.
I used to feel that way, but I don't now. It was like OCD as a kid.
Well, you're welcome.
Yes.
Because now tomorrow morning you're
I was just thinking, I don't like parking. Like when I'm driving, I don't like parking like on my driveway. I make sure my wheels are all the way on one of the squares. I don't line up on the divider line. So I guess it's the same. I just moved from shoes to tires.
100%. Absolutely.
Do you park your motorcycle right on the edge of the driveway?
No, so I have she's not listening. So I have taken over we have a 3-car garage. It's a double on one side and a single on the other. I've taken over the single car with both the motorcycles. But I have to back them in and then I have to pull them all the way up to the edge, the threshold of where the garage shuts just right in front of the front tires of both motorcycles. And then I have to have the perfect space on the one side that I can walk right around them all.
Do you have like a tape measure handy and you're like, not doesn't matter. I'm just going to check, make sure they're both even distance from the garage door.
I would, but there's a stain on the garage floor right there that I do. Like there's 2 little oil marks from however many years ago that I can now judge if I'm in the wheelhouse of where I need to be. So
You don't need the tennis ball on a string that hangs down from the ceiling. It's like, yep, right spot.
I'm right in there. I'm there. But it's crazy. I know a lot of them, as we get older, they become habits and stuff we get used to that make us comfortable. Like we don't do it because, if I don't park my motorcycle at that spot, something bad will happen. It's just, this is my comfortable situation scenario. But it's funny. There's a line that we can cross where we let that take over what we're doing. Right. And I think that's where it starts to dive into the OCD realm of things. If it gets carried away and gets hard, which it's a real thing. I get it. So there's a difference between habits that keep you in a comfort zone versus superstitions of, if I don't do that habit, something will go wrong.
I can't eat dinner without having water, or I need a beverage with me.
Well, that I feel like that's normal because you could choke and mouth gets dry and
Yeah, but that's ingrained fear. It's not superstition.
it's fear.
I choked on a marshmallow. My family was doing like this. I don't know. They're sitting around playing Uno one night, right? And Uno's fun and all. It's a little card game, right? And so it's got like 10 kids and parents. We're all like, reverse, reverse, skip, skip. It's all cool. And I like slide out, I like back up, and I leave, and I go in the kitchen because there's a bag of marshmallows. There's like the big marshmallows, the good ones, the ones you use on the campfire.
Yeah. The ones that you make s'mores with, for the record.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know.
But and so I'm taking them, and I'm like one at a time, just the next one. I'm like down in these, as because they don't know I'm gone. And I've just taken one in my mouth, and I'm about to swallow, and I don't know who called me. They're like, "Hey, Scott," Scott, and I like half swallow, and it didn't go down. And so come out, and I'm like choking on a marshmallow, and since then I've always like, for some reason in my head, if I had water, it would have made it better. No, water wouldn't have gone down either. It was marshmallow was filling all the space. Yeah, a couple good whops on the back, because I guess back then they didn't have the Heimlich, or at least we didn't know how to do it. You just hit people until they either died or they got better. And yeah, since then I've always had to have a beverage with me when I eat.
Speaking of beverage, is that a campfire beverage that you're sipping on right there?
Not yet. It's my son is actually making me some. It should arrive any moment now.
Oh, I thought you already had the hot cocoa.
It's incoming. This is water.
Oh, boo.
I know. It's sink water, which is even worse. Sink water is just above toilet water, in my opinion. Both. It's like I'm thirsty, not dirty. The water in the sink is for washing dishes, hands, things like that, vegetables.
Yeah, washing the stuff you eat, but you can't drink it.
Right.
But you put it on your food. Yeah, I get it.
It doesn't have to be reasonable. It's just how things are.
Well,
yeah. Anybody out in chat have any strange superstitions or habits?
Call out one or two of those. I'm going to take 2 seconds to turn the heater off because my office is on fire right now.
My heater turned on at the same moment. Superstitious coincidence? I think not. Let's see. Okay, party. Now that he's gone, let's start the music. Yeah. No, just kidding. We won't do that. You step on a crack, break your mom's back. You step on the line, you break your. Hang on, I'll show this one. You break your spine. You step on a rock. You break. It rhymes. Whoa. Newfie girl. I should have read this first. Don't want to get banned. Just a joke. Yeah, that's it. I never really learned the whole saying. That was it. I'm surprised you don't have a water filter. We do. It's one of those osmosis ones, I think, or the ones you fill up and it just sort of one drop at a time. It takes 3 days to get like a cup of water out of it, and the water is delicious when it's done. But you'll die of thirst before it's ready. New shoes on a table, or no new shoes on a table. Are you talking like a coffee table? Because that's literally what shoes are for. Is the coffee table is for where you put your feet, right? See, AWOL says I've already said it, but I have to put gloves on left first, shoes right first. Everyone's weird.
Funny.
Thomas, you and me included. We're all weird. Sorry, different. Did I say different wrong? I spelled different wrong.
Oh.
No hands or feet over the edge of the bed, just in case a bony hand is there waiting to grab me. Okay, I have chicken tenders arrived.
Oh, the cooked version.
Yes.
Good.
With chicken tender sauce.
I mean, it'll do.
It goes on eggs. It goes on chicken and eggs, ketchup.
Not eggs.
And hopefully not on the computer.
Mine, the laptop.
Yeah.
Katrina.
Let's see. I usually pay my own bill, so let's see. Not allowed to wear new shoes. Not allowed to wear new shoes outside noon. Has to be in the morning. Per my grandmother, aunt, and mom. Is this along the same lines, Crazy Cat Queen, of like you can't wear white after Labor Day? Is it the same people that came up with this?
Which I fully ignore. Oh, hi, Mrs. R.A. I accidentally clicked on the comment. It just, oops. Allies unite. We have a lot of
This is good.
we
You're
have a
missing
lot of
out.
shared. No, I'm not. I've had it, so that's checked off the list real quick.
I will say the chicken is much better cooked than raw and frozen, which I told Thomas earlier. I ran out after the break after we're done being live, and in my head I heard the stove go beep. I'm like, oh good, dinner's done. I'm finished. What a coincidence. I'm starving. I run out there. It takes a minute to power everything down and get everything ready. I run out there, and they're sitting on the stove. It's a tray full of chicken tenders. I'm like, I can already like taste the it's beautiful. And so I'm ready. I'm just gonna go grab one. I had one in the corner that is perfect. I'm just gonna go pop that in my mouth. Right as I go to grab it, like I'm like a millimeter away from grabbing it. I just see ice because they're straight out of the freezer. It's raw. It's raw. Oh, they taste better cooked.
The preheat timer went off.
Yes, preheat timer.
False alarm, as they say it. Greeners.
What
5
did-
memberships.
Yes, Greeners. Thank you very much. Megan, hello, y'all. Welcome. Good to have you here. We were talking a little bit about superstitions. Somebody said new shoes before noon. I thought you said something about moon, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the moon.
I
today.
read moon too. That's
You were-
funny.
yeah, we're both thinking moon.
Moon shoes.
No moon shoes before noon. There was a company that launched a rocket like in the last week or so, and it's not NASA, because NASA, I guess, doesn't do that anymore. I'm not sure. It's ever since the the space shuttle, they really have not been big on those regular launches. I grew up with like every couple months there's a space shuttle launch.
Right.
Until, of course, the tragic one. And
that was the Challenger, right?
Yeah, it was bad. But Innovative Machines was, I guess, they contracted with SpaceX. They took a payload which was designed for the moon, stuck it in one of SpaceX's rockets. They're the amazing ones that just take off and land by themselves, which nobody else has figured out how to do. They launch the thing, get out of orbit, and they kick out the payload, and it's like boop, onto the moon. And we haven't been on the moon in a long time.
Long
right?
time.
Oh, hot chocolate's here. Oh, it's hot.
So it's hot chocolate with hot chicken tenders with
It needs a caution hot sign on it. That's good. You're good. Thank you.
Should have put it in one of the New Age McDonald's cups.
I should have. I never would have burned myself that way. So they jettison their payload. It's like takes off to the moon, and while they're going to the moon, everyone, as soon as there's liftoff, everyone's like, yeah, the applause. NASA's like, we did it, on to the moon. We're mission halfway accomplished. No, as it's in flight to the moon, they're like checking their checklist and like, yep, we're all good. Just doing double check everything, and they're like, wait, Mr. Jones, did you pull the remove before flight pin? I kid you not. Did you pull the remove before flight pin? And he's like, I think I got like most of them. And they're like, yeah, what about the one on the little arm sensor that drops down the laser that measures how far down the ground is from the rocket so it can land appropriately? He's like, oh, about that one. Yeah, guys, they didn't pull the remove before flight pin on the arm that drops the laser that measures how far the ground is away. So now you have a rocket that's not going to be able to tell where the moon is, which is an important thing if you're going to land on the moon. I mean, SpaceX could tell them this, right? They have to know what's below you when they land on Yes, I Still Love You, the name of their ship or whatever it is, the rockets. It has to know where it is. And so they're scrambling and trying to say, how can we save this mission? Because guess what? The rocket is not going to do. The rocket's not going to turn around, come back and land and be like, oh, let's try again next time. There's one way to end this, and it's on the moon. And like, how do we save this? And it turns out that they did their best. And it was televised. If you watched the NASA stream, everyone's like, yay, we're going back on the moon. And they did the whole crunch.
Yeah.
And it stopped responding.
And how much was this mission?
$118 million. Plus that was like investor money, plus like $100 million from the company itself. And
what kind of tax shelter comes with that?
Oh, hopefully a big one. But seriously, so first of all, we all watched a big failure. And then in the news, they have the nerve to come out and say, we actually view this as a success because there must have been like a whole spin team working in the back room going like, you guys, we've got a lot of egg on our face. Is there anything we can look at and say it works? And they're like, yeah, there was one payload on it that was just a radio that was just supposed to send data back. And it sent the data back telling us the machine tipped over. And we're going to count that as a win, guys. Everybody circle around. Good job. Good job. So they're going to do 2 more flights and they're already sold out. Everyone's like, yeah, the first one works so well. I'll go ahead and invest again. And so, yeah, this is how I parallel park.
Tips over.
And this is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah. That's so crazy. I used to work for a recruiting firm, and we recruited employees for a whole bunch of different industries, but I was specific to one genre. And one of them, I won't say the company name. Well, I don't know. I can't. Well, I just won't. But they made rockets like SpaceX, and this was, holy cow, like 18 years ago. No, less than that. I don't remember. Short stint.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah,
I'm not good with the counting.
The math is not mathing. It's hard.
Yes.
But this company made rockets, and they were assisting the first civilian joyrides to space. That's what they were doing. So we were recruiting the engineers to help them continue building these rockets, as well as fabricators, and I forget all the other roles that we had to find. But we had to source them, find them, get them in, vet them. And then obviously if we vetted them, they would put them through their testing and they would hire them. But it was cool because when we would sign on a company to say, hey, I'm going to recruit for you. And they say, yeah, we need help. Please do. Come tour our facility and look at everything we do. Come check out our SOPs and what's going on. So that way, you know what our expectation is and what we need when you're vetting these people. And so we got to tour. It wasn't this company, but General Atomics, we got to go be a part of and go tour all their facilities and everything they do and what they build.
Cool.
It was so
these companies are so much cooler than we think. They are doing amazing things.
Unreal, the stuff they're doing. Boeing's another one that we were in. There were so many others, but being a part of it and just getting to see it, when I'm like, I'm in here and I shouldn't be allowed in here, and I'm just trying to find you an employee, but I get to be hands-on and see all this stuff and what's going on. It was so stinking neat. And seeing these rockets in person and what they're building, what they started from to what they become. And this company, they're still in business because I actually looked it up before we started, and they're still going. And it was such a small building when they started, and now it's huge. But it's crazy to see the work that goes into this stuff. I mean, holy cow.
It's nuts. The companies are crazy. I had a similar experience with military. I was over in England and met a guy who had access on the military base, and he's got lots of the little marks on his arm, whatever those are. So which means he tells other people with less marks what to do.
He's somebody.
Okay? And I'm like, oh, this is so cool. I like to see the planes. He's like, oh, you want to see the planes? Come on over, and we followed him. He let us in, waved us past the guard, opened the gates within the gates, and everything. And we go over to this building, we go in and there's an F-16E sitting there.
Right in front of you.
Come check it out. And I'm walking around, and it has the remove before flight pins too. And I stick my head in the like a rocket thing in the back. And I'm like, when am I going to get a chance to do that again and live? I mean,
right.
Really. So,
assuming it's off, yeah.
Climbing around, looking in the cockpit and things, and then we're asking about the why it has the extra fuel capacity, and are they nuclear capable? And he gets really quiet. And he turns and he points to the other side, and there's like all these different live rounds that they can fire. And then there's one that has like this huge tarp, and it's like, tied down, covered. He's like, yeah, I can't tell you what's under that. So I don't feel safe wandering around this hangar. But the government's probably going to get me for talking about it. But yeah, anyway, that was before I had a security clearance. I signed nothing about this. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I love seeing technology like that, and the idea that we can send something up to the moon and land it, and then talk to it. If it doesn't tip over. But,
yeah, the old tip over. Who would have thought, out of all the accidents, that would be the one that caused the failure? It tipped over.
This guy's like a 75-cent pin. Just cost us $118 million of investor money.
No data to report back. other than it tipped over. We did it.
That's the
Oh,
best description ever. The Flight of the Navigator set. That was what it looked like. If you've ever seen the movie, where
I
they take the spaceship and it like hovers above the ground. They put a big tarp over it, try to like hold it in place. Yeah, that's what the missile looked like.
I'll be pulling that up as soon as we're
Yeah.
done. Check it out.
Yeah, it's the quote from that movie is "I don't leak, you leak," and when you see it, you'll know it. But that movie scares me as an adult, and it didn't as a kid. I guess I didn't get the suspense, but nowadays I go back and watch it. And I'm like, this one creeps me out. I can't do this.
That's the old saying, ignorance is bliss, right?
Yep.
When you don't know.
Speaking of space, there is the things we put up in the air have been very beneficial looking back at Earth. If you as a weatherman, for instance, a lot of the radar is from the ground, but some of it is from the sky. And you can literally, they can see the cloud formations and stuff on the top of the cloud cover and see what's happening. And there's also some other stuff they can see, and that's sort of, either nature caused or man caused. And lately there's been one of the man caused ones. Or wait, nature caused ones. Was it lightning?
The latest I've read, there's no. Well, I'm assuming you're segueing into Texas fires because otherwise I'd set this up for failure.
I was going to go back to superstitions. No, just kidding. Yeah, Texas fires works great.
Yeah. So the last I read, there's no. There has been no determination of what started the fires. Again, it's been a few hours since I read, and I just kind of stick to a single source versus reading several others. So we don't actually know, and especially in the Panhandle, there's 4 or 5 major fires that are contributing to all this massive burning. So the starting
By
of them could be all
by
unrelated.
by major, I know you're local and you've heard about this, but if you haven't been following the story, just how big are these fires? How much area are we talking about?
So we've got well, so we're over 100, or sorry, we're over 1 million acres that have been burning since Monday, which that's a short
How
time.
many inches is that?
Yeah,
No,
well,
just kidding. Hang on. Let's.
I don't have enough digits on this.
Hey Siri,
Oh, I gotta mute you.
how many square miles is 1 million acres?
1 million acres is 1,562.5 square miles.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. It's been insane. As of yesterday, it was the second largest wildfire in the state, and then as of today, it has officially taken over as the largest of the state. And again, that's one out of the 4 or 5 that are burning in the Panhandle. So
And the wind is just like driving them. I mean,
yeah,
it's like a firestorm.
yeah, the wind has been absolutely crazy. Crazy cat queen. I am in North Texas. I am just northwest of Dallas by about 2 hours on the Texas-Oklahoma border, kind of right on the, not really, but close to the armpit of the Panhandle. So it's been insane. It's been record breaking, and the good news is, it started off with extreme fire conditions. We got the National Weather Service alerts and everything that, hey, take precautions, don't do it. We get those from time to time, no big deal. Well, of course, right when we got them, boom, these ignited. The only good thing is today, I haven't seen any reports of how much it's helped or suppressed anything. There were some snow flurries up in the Panhandle today that were kind of covering that specific area, but actually, Scott, if I may,
Yeah.
if I can share just a quick map. Let's see if I can. Okay, so here we go. So I'll back up a little bit if everyone can see it. And if anyone's curious and ever wants to tune in, this is fire.airnow.gov. So it shows fire, smoke, and air quality reports. So all these little green dots are air quality reports that are sent out.
I'm guessing the 3 of those pretty much run together a lot.
Yeah, very much so. Yes.
Fire, smoke, and air quality generally are like found in the same general area.
Absolutely. So I'll zoom back out real quick. Here's the United States. But if we zoom in here on the Panhandle,
So
Texas,
little flames, I'm guessing that's the air quality, right?
those are the fires themselves. Okay. Wise guy. I took the bait. So we'll click on this one. If it's going to give it to me. There we go. Close that out. And so I'll back out. So 850,000 acres for that fire alone. That's
Okay,
how
so that
much it's covering.
it's if you look at it might be hard to see the lines. For those that don't know, Texas has a little sort of like a square type jut out at the top, up by the panhandle, the Oklahoma panhandle. The fire is covering one half, like from right to left. It's gone. The distance is one half of that.
Mhm.
Started in the middle, has gone all the way over across into Oklahoma.
Yeah, it's massive. And what's crazy is this being the largest one, it moved so quickly and so fast that they couldn't contain it. So for days, it was going from 100,000 to 200,000 to 300,000 with 0% containment. I mean, it was absolutely insane. So it's still going, still burning. And then again, we've got some much smaller fires that are contributing to it because even though they're smaller, they are stealing resources from the main fire. And I know there's fire departments from all over the place. This one's 2,000 acres by this lake. There's another large one. So here's one. Here's 142,000 acres.
Is that
That's
called the
covered.
Windy Deuce fire?
That for chat purposes, we're just gonna get, yep, it is.
It says Windy Deuce.
Yeah.
So you take the Windy Deuce and put it up next to what's the other one called?
The one adjacent would now be this isn't playing nice. Here we go. And you put it next to the 687
The Reamer.
Reamer.
687 Reamer.
And
Who
then
names these?
And then that jumps in line with this is something Creek Fire, the big one. Smokehouse Creek Fire. They named that one accordingly.
I'm guessing that one is also smoky. Yeah.
So it's been wild. But what's crazy about this map is you can see how many reported fires are actually
everywhere,
active.
all the way down through Florida.
Yeah, it's all over the place. Now they will record fires that are like 20 acres. I mean, so the map is going to be real active. I think they record or report everything outside of an approved burn.
Somebody burning a little leaf pile in their backyard without permission might get on the map.
Exactly. So it's pretty
Good
crazy.
job, guys. You're drawing resources away from the needed locations because you can't get a permit from their fire station.
Right.
Man.
But yeah, it's been intense. So it's a new record for our state with that. It's been sad, a lot of structures, but it's in areas where it's very sparse as far as population, which is a blessing in that regard. But it's affecting a lot of other things that a lot of people don't realize because, I mean, fires are
It's
natural.
farmland. It's farmland.
It's farmland. Massive farmland.
And cattle grazing.
Yes, and if anyone is friends with me on Facebook, I posted a video yesterday, and it's of a big truck, a feed truck. It's running down a pasture with feed, and there's herds of cattle chasing it with flames and smoke behind it.
Yeah.
And
they're just trying to get them to safety.
Yeah, they're trying to get them out and run away. But when it's something that massive, it's almost like you have nowhere to go. So it's going to have a lot of effects on a lot of things, unfortunately.
It will. The price of beef, unfortunately, is going to go up. Vegans, you don't get out on this one as well because wheat fields are burning like crazy as well. So your food is also affected.
Yes.
So yeah, it's gonna. But Mrs. RA says, or Homeschool Ground Zero says, Greeners, it's fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. Trust us. Nothing to see here. Move along, guys. Move along. Man, yeah. That's it. Hopefully they can get there. I guess when it gets this big, they really just need weather to cooperate.
100%. Not only for containment, but when these temperature drops and that cooler precip comes in, just the spirit and the morale for all the firefighters and everyone there to get a little bit of reprieve, gives them a little bit of boost to keep going and fighting. But it's wild to see when these things happen. You get agencies from all over the place that come in and go fight. And but it's wild because our town has sent firefighters up there, and that's awesome. It's cool. If anything, because we're still under severe fire weather warnings here. If anything breaks out here, now we're shorthanded. So
now it's just the local volunteers and shovels is what you guys have. Actually, out west, I got to volunteer. I did a lot with ham radio. I was doing communication. I was actually like the vice president of my ham radio club, which It was the first year I was in it, I think. Nobody else wanted the job. And so I'm like, yeah, cool. No,
It's
don't do
still
that.
impressive because you have to get
Um,
certified to do it.
Yeah, licensed and everything. But we got called out because we had a fire in the mountains, and the radios that the firefighters were using up in the mountains couldn't get through the canyons. Well, guess what? Radios have much more power than the little police radios. Well, our ham radios do, because we could talk
Ham
around the
radios.
world with them. And so we just quickly modified our radios to allow us to talk on government frequencies. Did a couple of antenna modifications, and we took over the communication. So I was running communication between the firemen up on the hill who were trying to put out the fire, and then the control back at home. And also we were coordinating airdrops and helicopters and things like that to drop water to the crews and things like that. So love being involved in that. But yeah, it is scary. It is scary with when Mother Nature just lets loose to remind you who's in charge. We think we can control everything. We've got this nice little world where everything's happy, and then Mother Nature is like, oh, and by the way, volcano, Iceland. Yeah.
Change of plans. Just like this week. I mean, there's so many that experienced warm temperatures all over the place, to then within a day of 30 to 40 degree drops, if not more. And some had precipitation. I know we were 92 on Monday. Today we were 38 degrees and it was sleeting, which was pretty wild. The big story right now, well, and then 2 days ago we had tornadoes out near Detroit, Chicago, everything else.
Yeah.
The big story is in the Sierra Nevadas out in California tomorrow and through Saturday. Blizzard conditions. Put it this way, the Tahoe ski resorts preemptively already shut down tomorrow, because out of all the reports that they're looking at anywhere from 2 to 12 feet of snow between tomorrow and Saturday.
It's like we have to shut down the ski resort midwinter because the lifts can't run when the snow is this deep.
Yeah, the lifts are bottoming out.
The chairs are dragging.
Yeah.
We'll have to shovel out the whole mountain before we can open up again.
Absolutely. So they're shutting down. They're not calling for inches. They're calling for feet. So they're closing tomorrow. They're tentative for the weekend, but they're optimistic because it's going to bring great excitement and luxury for springtime skiing. Because if they get that much snow, they're going to stay open later. But for everyone there now, holy cow, the next few days will be.
I hope you know how to build an igloo.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's your only survival technique.
Or your Airbnb will let you extend by another week because you're not going anywhere.
No one else is coming in though, so I guess the new guests won't show up.
True.
Went from 70 to 80, says Red Pen. Just a cold front moved in. Boom.
Yeah, it was a massive front that blew in from the north. We got it really good the other day, which was great because I'm such a baby with warm weather, and it's been a mild winter, but I love the cooler temperatures. And so Monday when it was 92 and I was out in the front yard and getting the trash together and doing whatever I was doing after work, and I was sweating and I was miserable and it felt so hot. So I was like, I'm not ready for warmer spring and summer to get here. And then so these cooler temps blew and I went, yes, back to a hoodie because I've gotten accustomed to it. But yeah, Kelly P says, let me get this, just screaming at everybody. I believe it because it's raining like crazy in Sacramento area. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of rain in the Central Valley and the foothills will get it too. And it'll be off and on for the next 2 to 3 days will come the rain. Absolutely. And then the foothills will be fairly dry until late Saturday. No snow. That snowfall is going to expand, and the foothills we're actually going to see some snow as well because it's going to be so big.
I'm looking at the weather. I guess I'm like in the sweet spot where we're getting down to just above freezing every night and up to about 70 during the day for like the next, 10 days.
Oh, perfect.
It's just all the cold stuff goes north, the hot stuff goes south, and the fires stay west of us. So I think we planned it right, moving right here. There's nothing around us, nothing to do, but we're safe from all the weather. We like to say we're 2 hours from anything.
That's funny. Our town is the same way, minus weather, but we're 2 hours from any sort of entertainment in a big room, big sporting events, big concerts, stuff like that. Whereas, how many people are in your town? Population.
I know that it's low enough that when a car leaves, they have to change the sign. I think we're around 5,000 or so. It's not a ton.
How close would be a big town to you? Say
to-
that.
Greenville, North Carolina is the big town, and it's what 150,000,
And how far away is that?
15 minutes.
Oh, okay. So you're there. I get it.
Yeah, but they don't have anything there either. So they have to drive. They have some restaurants. They have places. I mean, we can go out to eat. You can find an Applebee's. You can find a Panda Express. You know, the ones that matter.
The important ones. Yep.
Wendy's. It's got a Sam's Club. No Costco, unfortunately.
Okay.
But a couple Walmarts, a couple neighborhood Walmarts, 2 Lowe's. I mean, it's not a tiny place, but nobody wants to go to Lowe's for the weekend. It's like, hey, what should we do? I don't know. We could go to Lowe's. That involves work. That involves work because then you have to come home.
Christmas decorations, lawn work.
No.
So you just described our town to a T. We're 115,000. Lowe's, Home Depot, 3 Walmarts, Sam's, no Costco.
We have a college town. Okay, we've got ECU.
Okay.
And we've also, I guess you got Pitt Community College as well, but that, nobody goes there. ECU is, sorry, didn't mean to offend anybody, especially if, that's your alma mater or whatever. ECU is a huge college town, and all there is for the kids to do is drink. And we wonder why they get in trouble. Okay. There's one miniature golf course in the entire town, and like 3 people can play at once. It's like, there's nothing for you to do here. You can drive an hour and a half, 2 hours to the beach. You can drive an hour and a half, 2 hours to Raleigh. You can drive an hour and a half, 2 hours to Virginia, or, other than that, it's just farmland.
Did you say there's nothing to do for college students but to drink? And tied it to that college?
I'm telling you, it's.
I think that's kind of, yeah. Adam says, yeah, you could study.
That's at least 2 hours away. 2 hours away for anybody who studies. No, we've talked about this. We're like, it would be great if somebody brought like one of those iFly. You know what iFly is? Where it's a huge vertical wind tunnel where you put on like skydiving suit.
Indoor skydiving.
Yeah. Do that and bring the companion business, which is the indoor surfing, where they have the powered wave.
Yes.
I forget what that's called. There's like one company that holds the patent on everything. But you bring one of those. The ocean's not far away. People have actual, surfboards. They like that sort of thing around here, but there's nothing like that. And if somebody could just shell out the capital and start a company here, they would boom. You've got a captive audience with nothing else to do. And
they could do it drunk.
I guess. Don't recommend this. This is not advice by any means.
Not one bit.
I've got a million business ideas that take just a couple $1 million to start, but I'm sure they'll be successful. Not for me though.
It's funny you say that because I've thought I've had some really good ideas, like, I'm going to do it. And then I go to Google real quick. Yeah, I've been doing it forever. The first one I did was an app I wanted to create that was interactive amongst food trucks, so they could pin their location all the time of where they were. Since they move all the time, you could open the app and see where all the food trucks in your area happen to be parked at that time. So you could go get your favorite food at lunch, dinner, whatever you want.
For like $200, you could do this on your own.
It's already out there.
Just glue.
No,
just glue a little Apple AirTag.
Yes.
And it's like, where is everybody? It's funny you mentioned that, because I had an idea for an app as well, and it was actually for a college town app, and it was a game of tag with a, let's say, financial incentive involved.
Okay.
Where and now that I'm giving this away, so help me, if one of you makes this app, consider yourself, everyone raise your hand, put your hand on your keyboard, the other hand on the keyboard, raise your other hand. I now swear you to secrecy. This is a non-disclosure agreement where you agree not to take this idea and run with it and make $1 billion and not cut me in.
And not cut me in.
So help me, YouTube. Everyone agree? Okay.
Put a percentage on that cutting you in, by the way.
So the idea was this app that is basically like it's like gotcha. It's like tag, where you have people that you try to get targets. You have targets you have to get within a certain proximity and interact with them using Bluetooth, because that's a proximity based thing. And if you do that, you can capture their value, their wanted value. and part of
Okay.
that pays out to you, and part of it goes into your wanted value. And if you can survive to the end of the game, you can cash out your wanted value. So there's an incentive to win, because you get a payout. It's skill based, so it gets around all the states that say no gambling, and it allows, it has, obviously it has the feature where you get to buy in. You can re-up and buy another life, and you start with a very low value. You're not a high profile target. And then you can just work your way up by capturing people, getting some money, and cashing out. And the whole idea is more money is going in than just cashing out. It has to work that way for the game to be profitable.
Who
But
controls the money and where does it go? What does it benefit?
well,
Like
me.
it can't just stay in the kit. Okay.
The money goes to me.
The developer. Okay.
Yes, the developer. But a lot of it, probably like most of it, like 75% of it, would go as a payout to people who play and won. Is it gambling? ChatGPT, write me the patent application. It's
like
gambling, but only for the physically fit, says Mrs. Ari. That's what it was. But that was my idea. And I drew this up. It was more than just an idea. I drew this up. I contacted programming companies and had them sign non-disclosures and started talking to them about this. And I'm thinking, everyone's making an app nowadays. Everybody and their brother knows how to do this. I mean, I could walk down the street and the average person I stop could probably program this app for me. So I contacted a developer company, and they're like, yeah, just the loading screen alone would probably cost you about $15,000. And then you'll have to buy the rights for maps or license, and it just exploded. I'm like, well, way to crap on my parade.
Yeah,
right?
that's no kidding.
Because this idea is a great one, and it gets people out, gets them active. It uses their phones, their devices, which everybody carries and has. It's basically like Pokemon, but you make money.
It's exactly what it sounds. Pokemon with people, but it makes good money.
Yeah. So one of you going to make that app. At least name a character in the game after me when you make it big and release that worldwide, and it goes viral and everything else. So.
I'm with you. That makes sense. Diving back to the college kids and the booze. This was years ago. I was still naive, and I thought I'm gonna open a bar in town called the Library, because we're a college town as well. So that way, when all the freshmen are at the bar and they text their parents, I'm at the library, but it's a bar. And I thought that's going to be the coolest thing ever. Now I know in different towns you can still name them that, but then when I went to Google, there's like hundreds of bars called the Library. I was 100 years late to that party, but I was so excited when I thought
so creative.
It's well, when I read the Google and saw them, I went, that was not creative at all. But I didn't hear about it or see it anywhere else. I just thought about it on my own, and I was so excited. And my friends at the time were like, yeah. And then, yeah, like I said, this was years and years ago before I came to terms with reality of
how many people made it through law school only because they spent long hours at the library? That's what I want to know. How many doctors do we have out there performing surgeries that their claim to fame is they spent more time on the library floor than anyone else?
Oh gosh, I can only imagine. It's crazy. The bar business is a big business in the right areas.
Got a friend that bought a bar in Wyoming.
Oh, what town? I've got a friend.
I've got to look it up. It's funny. They moved from like the boonies. She's one of those people that doesn't have the social restrictions. Is like, hey, our house needs to look nice and be like all the others. Yeah. They're like, you know what? We're going to build a house out of straw. I'm like, you heard about the Three Little Pigs, right? Because it didn't end well for them. But no, they built like a bale of straw house, and they built it, and it's like our value is 300. Like, that's the insulation value. It's like literally there could be nuclear holocaust on the outside and it's nice and cool on the inside because the insulation is so effective. I'm like, wow, that's really cool. Anyway, they do things like that a little bit differently, but it's like the college inn bar or something up in Wyoming. But they moved in and the bar was shutting down. It was closed down, and they like reopened the bar, and it's like the happiest thing in town is that bar. But I followed them on Facebook a little bit. Haven't talked to them in ages. Probably need to do that.
Do you know the town or no? Too much research at the moment.
I can find it.
I'm just curious because I have a friend there, and I mean I know Wyoming's big, but yeah, Heather Ann says Wyoming's very pretty. It is. It's gorgeous. I've got actually a couple friends there. One of them on a ranch, and it's absolutely
Douglas.
Stunning.
Douglas.
Oh, that's not far. Let me.
Douglas, Wyoming, College Inn Bar.
I've been there. Is that friend?
You've been to the bar?
No, to Douglas. Yeah, no, I haven't been there. Let me see. Yeah, it is. Holy cow! It is not that far. What's the name of the bar? I gotta write it down.
College Inn Bar.
Oh yeah.
You said college, go to the library. This one just says college on it. Like I go to the school of college. It's the bar.
That's brilliant. I bet she and her husband have been there. If I had to guess, I can't wait to ask and see. But let's see. I got a text that I think is pertinent to our podcast again from my brother who loves to lurk in chat, and he says you have a great idea.
There it is.
He says you have a great idea.
The library or the app? What is he saying to you or to me? I want to know who won.
No, to you, because he said he to me, so that means I got to give you the credit.
Wonderful.
Yeah. No, he glossed right over mine real quick. Big brothers do that.
Yeah. We've heard you talk about that library bar for a long time, Thomas.
Yeah. He's like, no.
Did you lose power?
No. Shortcut key. Mouse went to the bottom right of the screen, so it cut everything out. I should be back now.
Okay. You're back.
Yeah, it's almost 8, so I was just cutting it off.
Yep. It's like I guess it's time to end.
He confirms the app, so
that's good. I've got a couple other variants of that because who was it? Brett or Bet? Somebody said in chat that sounds like a training for stalkers, and that occurred to me afterwards. You know, the whole stalking potential.
Yeah.
The app, by the way, the name of it is called Net Worth because it's a business.
Brilliant.
And you have a net worth where you're going and you're attacking people with the highest target value, and it increases your net worth. And I've written up the entire thing. Honestly, I just need the investors. But anyway, there was another game that it was similar to that, but it takes the personal side of it out of it. And you hide a point on the map, like you choose a point on the map, very, very granular, like a specific spot. And it's like hide and seek, and you're trying to find other locations, like other people's locations. So you have a certain number of guesses.
Key or whatever.
Basically, you're basically throwing darts at the wall, and every time you throw a dart, you get a clue. And the clue might say it's within this angle of where you are, or it might say it's within this distance of where you are. And you have a certain number of guesses, and the more guesses, a certain number are free. And if you get within a certain proximity, you win the target and you get the cash. But obviously, the goal is to run out of guesses. Well, don't tell the people who use this, but the goal is to run out of guesses before you find the thing. And eventually, the people who pay to win, I guess it's also gambling. I guess I need just to open a casino. That's what I'm saying.
It's perfect.
Yep, we're going to do a geocache casino is what it is. Virtual geocache casino.
Brilliant. You might have actually just started. That might be another idea.
I tell you, this is like a business. What do they call it when they like a little hub where everybody? Oh man, there's a term for that when like a little startup can go somewhere, get all the ideas and support, and then they have to like spin it off themselves. That's what we do. We just spin off great business ideas. It's probably illegal.
Well, and it's going to be
incubator. That's it.
Incubator. Yeah. Well, it's stolen now. I mean, the hundreds of thousands of people that watch this podcast now, it's all out there, and it's being.
I just want to play the game now. I'll be one of the people who pays to get guesses and sign me up, right? Whoever makes it, just send me the link.
There was like a couple Ryans and a Nathan on trial today that I think you could probably hit up for investments that need some tax shielding.
Some producers looking for a tax shelter.
Yeah. Oh, that's too good. Approaching the 8 o'clock. Oh, we hit the 8 o'clock hour. So before we sign off, and I meant to actually tell this to pre-show, so it wasn't a surprise. But surprise, next week.
Surprised.
Yeah, we have a guest next week.
Wonderful.
Yes. So it's actually, I saw it in chat when we first started. I didn't get to highlight it or respond to it, but they subscribed to the Tales of a Principal channel that we spoke about last week. Well, he has walked by the house a few times and we've chatted, and he's all excited because so many of you have subscribed to his channel. So thank you for doing that, because he and his wife were elated that you guys boosted his subscribers. He went from like 12 again in just 1 week of just starting it, and it's really good, to like 90, like bam. So
that's awesome. So for those that don't remember, this is a retired principal who is sharing some of the craziest stories of what happens, behind the scenes in principal's office at a school. And he does a great job storytelling. He puts out little videos. They're not too long. They're short. They're easy to watch, and a great storyteller, great voice. And I'm excited to I guess meet him virtually.
Yes, and they're cool because they're animated the way he does them. So the way he can edit and do the voice. So, anyways, well, yeah, you're welcome. You're doing a great thing. And I said, you should join the show. And he said, I'd love to. So he walked by actually yesterday and said, when are we going on TV? And I said, not this week, but next week, join us. And he said he would. And I think
Awesome.
everyone would love him because he's got some great insight and some good stories. But he's extremely quick-witted. He reminds me of Adam Nusky quite a bit.
Adam Nusky, Red Pen, Greeners. We've got there's a few of you that are like a notch above the rest of us when it comes to quick wit and humor.
Yes.
So it's awesome. I'm super excited. That's gonna be so much fun.
Look here. He's in chat. He's watching. He watches.
There it is.
Show,
Great voice. Tales from the principal's office is going to be there in person. I guess we'll get to do beforehand. We'll do some tests just to make sure we can hear each other and the camera works and everything. And we'll next week we'll plan on it. So bring your questions, bring your horror stories. I think this would be better. Bring your horror stories from growing up, whether it was a horror story as a teacher or as a principal. If some of you were principals, I realize that's probably a harder match, but or as a student. Really, I had one teacher in 3rd grade. Her name was Mrs. Angerbauer. And she says, my name is Mrs. Angerbauer because sometimes I get angry. that was day one of class. I'm like, oh crap, she's gonna beat the crap out of me if I do anything wrong. Oh man, I loved her. She was the nicest lady. I don't think she graded a single paper. I think she just, like, if you turned it in, you won. It was check, check, check. I don't think she could see, honestly. I don't think she could read anything we did. So it was just, I passed 3rd grade with flying colors, and everyone else did as well. You know what else we did in that year? I know we're supposed to wrap up here.
No, you're good. Keep going.
I guess they were doing a big, huge push about anti-smoking in schools. 3rd grade, okay? I'm like a kid. I'm just excited that there are bumblebees and flowers outside. I show up to class and we've got a special guest who comes in to tell us not to smoke. And he brings up this like vacuum sealed thing. I'm like, what is that? These are human lungs from smokers it's like literally out of a cadaver. It's like those are lungs in Ziploc bags. And I'm in 3rd grade. And it was like, this is why you don't smoke, kids. And it was like, okay, I got the message. You're going to Ziploc me in a bag if I do. Oh, man. 3rd grade was rough. It was rough. That's
the old Dare commercials of this is your brain on drugs with scrambled eggs versus, but a real grossed out lung vacuum sealed.
I like, because they passed it around.
Oh, no.
I guess I'm supposed to squish it. What else are you supposed to do if it's in a bag? So felt bad for the guy or woman. I don't know. It didn't say it was a guy or girl, but whose lungs they were. But it was like real spread out lungs in a Ziploc heavy plastic bag that it was
just a stress lung.
Yeah, it was. Same year, that school. If we were good in class, if we were good, and this, I guess we should bring this up next week with your friend, our guest. But if we were good, we got a movie day in school.
Same here. Yeah, on Friday.
And they showed us an R-rated movie.
Oh,
that it was something about the Black Pearl or something. And it's like I remember the scenes where there's a guy, they like pour gasoline around him and light it on fire. Okay. I'm in 3rd grade sitting here in the cafeteria watching on the big screen on the projector. And then they put like tarantulas in there, and like the first person to move loses, and the spider like is crawling on the guy's face, and he's holding his hand, he's crushing the spider. It was, yeah, this is how I was traumatized. So yes, next week I have stories. I have questions. It's going to be great.
Next week's going to be great.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. School. Yeah. It's, I know people have issues with schools now, but I'm really questioning the school you went to. But anyway,
I can tell you it was, true. I'm going to save this for next week. I have so many stories about growing up in school.
We're going to book 2 hours for next week's show.
One last little bit. The school I grew up in, the elementary school that I went to, was called Adelaide Elementary. And on the wall, inside, as you go inside the front door, there's literally a Bible scripture on the wall, and everyone's like, "No, you can't do that. Separation. You can't." You know what? If they ever take it down, they lose the right to the land. It was donated by a family on the condition that verse stays on the wall. And it's something about honor thy mother and thy father, right? It's like it's something, it's, as far as principles go, it's something a lot of people, even if you're not religious, will generally agree with. But if they ever take it down, the rules for the land when it was donated and accepted is that land reverts back to the family immediately. And so they can't take it down. And somebody's out there. One day somebody's going to sue them. They're going to have to take it down, and then boom, land's gone. But that was my elementary school. We'll talk about burning garbage and everything else next week, because I've got stories there too.
Sounds like the Burning Man of school. But
oh, I love that school.
We'll get there. That's awesome. So next week, same time, same place, Thursday, 8:00 Eastern time, we will have a guest, Tales from the Principal's Office, who its videos are great. So many of you have subscribed again, so we can't wait to check it out. I see a lot of you in chat saying subscribe. So thank you so much. It's really cool. He's having a lot of fun with it. Scott, moving forward with the current Hannah Gutierrez trial tomorrow, you are going live at what time?
Let's do 9:00. It's a late start trial. It runs really late in the day. So if we get started too early, yeah.
Extra day.
I want to sleep in too.
Yeah, extra day this year. We're tired. Sleep in a little bit.
It's going to be March 1st, new month tomorrow. So lots of things coming up in March. Fun stuff as far as courts going. Have to go down the list, but I know I think Tyrone Tucker's up. His retrial should be happening with a new judge. That's happening. Let's see who else is coming up next month. James Crumbly. I don't think we're going to follow that one. That was, anyway, we'll see. Fernandez and Gardner. That's the Microsoft executive murder. That might be happening starting next week. We'll look and see what's available. John Torres, Robert Tellis. We've got a few big trials happening, so we'll definitely have some stuff to follow there. Some interesting things, but until the 8th, I think we're going to be here with Hannah Gutierrez, and it's taking its time. So
it is, but it's spicy, it's informative, it's educational. We're getting to see two different takes on different lawyering tactics and styles, which is cool. A lot going on, a lot jam-packed. So 9:00 Eastern tomorrow, right here on this channel, we'll pick up Hannah Gutierrez, and it's going to be Friday. I'm super excited. It's been a great week, and I think the finishing comment here for the night, I think it's...
Hang on. I've got one more thing I've got to do here, and my computer's taking forever to do it. The song's not over. Don't make it end just yet.
Okay. We'll put... She had to wait anyways, the first go around, so we'll make her wait this time as well. She's used to it.
Happy anniversary. If I had known it was you, I would not have. I've got to run to the store really quick, you guys. I've got something just came up. And we're gonna have to. Oh my goodness.
I didn't know how to nudge or wink or to get your attention.
I'm still frantically trying to do things on the backside here.
It's all right. You've got a lot of people in chat are wishing you both a very happy anniversary, which is fantastic. So, and I do the same. That's awesome. And happy anniversary, and cheers to many more years of no more joint ice fishing.
Yes. Well, she's cheering. I'm still crying over that one. You guys have a great weekend. It's been awesome. We'll see you guys tomorrow.